the competition for television viewing. The NFL is the most lucrative sports league in the world, worth more than $35 billion, with revenues reaching $9 billion. And guess what? It is tax exempt and has been for nearly 50 years. So, is it time for a rethink? This fall, Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn introduced legislation that would deny big money sports leagues nonprofit status. Andy Kroll's article in Mother Jones, Should the NFL Lose Its Tax-Exempt Status?, examines the push to stop the NFL gravy train. Andy, welcome to Word of Mouth.
Pleasure to be here.
Let's just note here that $500 to $2,600 is the going rate for a ticket to the Super Bowl, which is double of that of last year. And these, by the way, are legitimate tickets, not scalp tickets. With money coming in like that, how can the NFL be a non-profit?
The NFL has had this sweet deal dating back really to the 1960s. And this is really a story of why organizations pay to have really smart lobbyists. There was legislation in the 1960s talking about the merger of the two existing pro football leagues at the time. And as they were trying to figure out what this new entity, the NFL, would be organized as, how the law would govern it, lobbyists for the league snuck into the tax code, as lobbyists are paid to do, language saying that pro football leagues could be treated the same as chambers of commerce and real estate boards. In this particular part of the tax code, the 501c6. Since then, the league has enjoyed this tax-exempt status while paying its executives huge sums, 7 and 8 figures, to run the league. And no one has really mounted a serious challenge to that until recently, when we had Senator Tom Coburn, Republican of Oklahoma, saying, hey, this deal has got to end.
Well, I'd love to get into that a little, but I'm quoting your article here. In 2011, the NFL paid its 5 highest-ranking executives almost $60 million, and Roger Goodell, the head, alone pocketed $29 million. This largesse comes largely on the backs of taxpayers in cities that have pro football teams. And distinguish for us, the league is nonprofit. The teams, however, are they?
So the teams are companies, and they pay money. They pay taxes on the revenues they bring in. But the NFL, as an organization, the head office, as you might hear it on watching Sunday football, is not a small operation by any means. The league office brought in $255 million in 2011 and spent $330 million. And as you pointed out, the highest-ranking executives of the NFL are making Wall Street money.
Maybe even more stunning is the idea of Senator Tom Coburn making a case to Congress that this nonprofit status should end. I mean, he's from Oklahoma, a pro football state. What's the case he made, and how was it received by Congress?
Senator Coburn is, a contrarian in a lot of ways, and is a guy not afraid to, raise uncomfortable truths and pose uncomfortable questions to his colleagues and to the people governed by the U.S. government. He said here, he just doesn't believe that the tax code, as it's written right now, should take out winners and losers in such a narrow kind of way. His bill, the Pro Sports Act, would specifically focus on sports leagues with more than $10 million in revenue. Regular people don't get that same kind of exception, so why should a pro football league that clearly isn't having trouble raising and spending money and paying its employees? The bill has basically gone nowhere since it was introduced last fall, but the idea is catching on. As I reported in my piece, there's an organization, anti-corruption organization called Root Strikers, that has taken up Coburn's bill and is urging its members to sort of get some momentum behind it.
Well, Andy, I'm sure you know, a lot of nonprofits make the case that they have to pay their executives a lot of money in order to get the best possible talent. In the grand scheme of things, pushing for the NFL to pay taxes, how much money are we talking about? And is this move purely symbolic?
You're not going to balance the budget, obviously, by revoking the tax-exempt status of the NFL. So in a way, it is largely symbolic. But if you're going to make a symbolic move like this one, this bill is at least going after an organization that's visible and is coming under a lot of fresh criticism about how it operates, whether we're talking about concussions to players, whether we're talking about compensation of injured athletes, or whether we're talking about how the league itself makes money and how that money is treated. So it is, symbolic, but it could be, powerful in that way.
Andy Kroll, associate editor at TomDispatch.com, and Mother Jones' Dark Money reporter. That's where we found his article, Should the NFL Lose Its Tax Exempt Status? Andy, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
You'll find a link to read the article yourself on our website, wordofmouthradio.org.